Mr. Danielson will be filming us today. So thank you for being here, Bruce.
Good evening. My name is John Matthias, and I live in Sioux Falls. I'm a local native and past homeowner here, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. I want to share my thoughts and experience as they relate to the recent South Dakota Second Judicial Court ruling on a lawsuit between two homeowners in the McKennan Park area. I'm gratified that Judge John Matthias found in favor of the plaintiffs in this case. The ruling, however, focused national and even international attention on Sioux Falls. At a time when one or more city leaders have lamented a recent municipal decision on how poorly it looks for those who might consider moving to Sioux Falls, I'm inclined to point out, regrettably, how poorly this litigation reflects on our city administration. In a world where so little is under the control of the average citizen, our homes are our sanctuary. People who take pride in the appearance and upkeep of their residences are valuable assets to any town. And homeowners have a reasonable expectation that City Hall will protect their property from unscrupulous neighbors who would interfere with the peaceful enjoyment of their sanctuary and/or devalue neighboring properties through negligence. Were building codes not created with these goals of protecting existing neighborhood character, we'd likely see, for example, mobile homes sprinkled throughout single-family permanent home neighborhoods. Homeowners rely on their municipalities to prevent such detrimental changes from happening. In this case, the city's legal counsel argued at one point that it would be an onerous burden for city inspectors to make repeated site visits at the various stages of the construction permit process. However, I hope this unpleasant and lengthy litigation illustrates that common sense, eyes on the ball practices are more important where residential regulatory matters are concerned. The issues challenged in this case seem quite self-evident. Indeed, Judge Matthias repeatedly writes, "The court finds that a reasonable fact finder could conclude on issues supporting his decision." That implies it didn't take a PhD in engineering or legal scholar to conclude that allowing this huge new home to be built was wrong. Had one or more officials from planning and building services been empowered and/or required to actually put boots on the ground in the McKennan Park neighborhood, voicing a common sense question of, hey, what's wrong with this picture? Well, it might have prevented this entire debacle. In his ruling, Judge Matthias writes, "It is evidence that the city owes a duty to the McDowells, just like it owes a duty to anyone who would be negatively affected by the issuance of a building permit that would violate zoning and construction regulations. Although the exact harm may not be foreseeable, the harm that resulted here could be seen as a harm that is within the class of reasonably foreseeable hazards that are to be prevented," end quote. I'd like to conclude with two more related issues. It's apparent that an existing homeowner faced with a situation like this, but lacking the financial means to mount a costly legal action, would simply lose. Failed by City Hall and victimized by another property owner, he and arguably an entire neighborhood would be permanently harmed without any redress. That's a travesty, and it's not good government. Last but not least, the cost of residential property disputes like this between neighbors goes far beyond time and expense. I have the personal experience of a so-called new McMansion consume the home site next to my 1920-era Mission Craftsman-style bungalow in Los Angeles. I know firsthand how the emotional turmoil and strain of legal issues which threaten your residential sanctuary can wreak havoc on the interpersonal relationships with the families involved. This is a cost that is never recovered through injunctive relief or monetary damages. I implore our city leaders to please consider the far-reaching implications of municipal administrative failures like this as an important quality of life issue, and take steps to ensure that this history does not repeat itself. Thank you.
Mr. Mathias, thank you as well. Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Welcome. David, go right ahead, sir.
Greetings to the City Council and the Mayor, and greetings to the audience. I'm David Zokaites, and it's the new year, and I wanted to do something different, so I'm saying Happy New Year. I mean, that's not my normal discourse, but it's the new year, and we should all be happy because it's the new year. Christmas, as we all know, is a time of birth and a time of renewal. It's also happens to be the solstice, a time of hoping for new light to come upon the earth. And it's a season of camaraderie and good cheer and peace, love, and joy. And, food really helps the world go around. And my daughter loves to cook, so I talked her into making us 100 cookies. So really, that's what we did. And they're all like vegan chocolate chip. I bet you've never heard of such a thing. They're whole grain, the gluten-free she was hoping for but never got to. Chocolate chip whole wheat cookies. There's a box there of 100 cookies, and I hope we all enjoy Christmas and the New Year. And of course, I have to close with a picture. A very short talk tonight. This happens to be, I took it on the ski lift at Great Bear. And there's beauty upon the earth, and there's plenty of it right here, so we should have a good evening and enjoy Christmas a little bit longer. It's not quite gone. And have a Happy New Year.
Thank you, David. Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Councilor.
I am Kermit Staggers, citizen of Sioux Falls. Happy 2017. This is going to be a great year, I think, here for the City Council here in Sioux Falls. Hopefully this is going to be a good year for the council to continue to assert its authority that it has in accordance with the charter. Also, let me mention that a lot of this authority that can be asserted is in regard to the different boards that the city has. For example, the Parks Board or the RIMSA Board. And the most important thing about those two particular examples is trying to have more openness to allow their proceedings to be broadcast so that, citizens don't have to go to where the meeting is, but they can actually watch it on TV. But having mentioned those few words, once again, let me say, hey, have a nice 2017 and all the best. Bye.
Councilor Staggers, thank you.
Bruce Daniels from Sioux Falls. On Christmas Eve, I was out passing out a few gifts, and I came across a little bit of a mess over on Cliff Avenue, and I stopped and talked to some of the workers that were there, and I took a couple pictures that I don't know if you people got a chance to go see any of this, but they were working very hard, and I just wanted to publicly tell the administration and especially the workers who are out there working that we appreciated them being out there on a Christmas Eve when, even if it was reasonably nice weather, it was a hellacious water break, and it created a lot of strife in those neighborhoods while it was happening. So I just wanted to bring that up. And then over since we last met, Christmas Day, there was a tremendous windstorm that came with some really fun weather. And in the morning, at about 3 o'clock in the morning, actually, my house shook. I'm clear out on the west side of town, and my house shook and actually woke me up, and it was a blast of wind that came through that ended up causing a little bit of an issue over at the event center. And so I went over there and took some pictures of it, and then I was working to try and figure out a way to see, because as you all know, I'm pretty interested in seeing how much wind it takes to actually blow the siding off the place. And I was able to take these pictures and encourage the city to go over and actually fix it before the windstorm picked up the other day again. And as I was studying the images, I realized a lot of that was put up from the way it looks with what are called tapcons. And these are screws for actually usually anchoring lighter gauge material, the steel or wood, into concrete. And it appeared that they had been using tapcons to hold that, and when that blast of wind came about, it appears to have caught underneath that soffit, pushed it up and dropped it down. Well, in that whole scenario, tapcons aren't going to hold much. And it was a little disconcerting to actually see chunks of the event center hanging there ready to drop down into the HVAC system, and that would have pretty much shut down the place for a while. And then, of course, I keep wandering by the event center, and I see the rust is increasing, the ooze that's coming out from under the siding is increasing all over the building, and kind of makes you wonder how much water in all of that rain we got actually ended up in the walls, because you could sure see the ice around the building after it. So you know that the siding caught a lot of moisture, and we know that there's no water barrier to stop the water from getting into the walls. So there's a vapor barrier, but not a water barrier. And that soffit shows it. Thank you.
Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Welcome.
Sierra Broussard, Sioux Falls. 498 days until we have a new mayor. I've been hearing on the streets that candidates are coming forward for mayor. The one that owns the Harley Davidson shop, Kenny Anderson, and Pat Costello. As we go into the new year of 2018, we really need to get a mayor that it has control over crime. I don't know if Greg Jameson is coming out to run for mayor, but I support Greg Jameson 100%. I have an appointment with a federal agent tomorrow at 1 p.m. to clean up Duluth Avenue. What's going on over there is unreal. Bullet holes in the windows of shops because they're drug dealing. Taking food stamps, buying it off the streets, putting it in these little buildings at Legacy, right there by Mercado's, and selling dope and doing hair there. So cosmetology got involved and the state got involved, and we're going to clean this up. Again, if you would look back on all of the videos, if Greg Jameson decides to run for mayor, this is the best candidate that we need here. Greg Jameson has been saying forever and a day about this crime here. I had to go to a federal agent tomorrow and pass up the city's heads to get this cleaned up. It is beyond belief. We have security that is on the 100 block of Duluth, and I asked them, are you human prostitute trained? Yes, I'm an ex-Marine. Why are we seeing all this out here? And I have videos of it. But we should, as a city, if the mayor would let the chief of police and the police department do their job, and City Hall would not get involved of it, we need to clean up the streets here. Mayor, I'm telling you what, when I went on Duluth Avenue here, I mean, we have prison gangs. We had to take down a house that a landlord put a guy in that he just got off of parole for selling cocaine, and he got busted 2 weeks ago and sent back to prison. I'm not getting it. I went to Lucky's Casino, and I went to G&H Property, Destiny Properties. They're all saying, oh, it's the location, it's this, it's that, it's the other. These landlords are putting people that have criminal activity in these houses, and we have 6 drug houses, and 2 of them is down, so we have four more drug houses to go. So, Mayor, I'm saying this, that's the citizens need when election time comes to seriously look at these candidates and get a strong candidate to run for mayor to get the crime off the streets here. Thank you, and you have a good day.
Folks, did anybody else want to engage the council? Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Could you put your cookies down, please? Security, escort this gentleman out, please.
Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.